Not all men are created equal. In a superhuman society where 80% of the population has a metahuman ability or a quirk, the question starts to become who can win in the battle of good versus evil? And what does it mean to actually be a hero? Can someone actually become a hero even if they don't have a quirk? Those are the questions raised in My Hero Academia, and we finally have the answer.
There are stories about every hero, how they became great. Now, it's your turn.
Fear not, citizens. Hope has arrived. We are here one last time talking Boku no Hero
Don't know if maybe
Academia.
it's me. I can't hear you. It might be me. Sorry. Might be some tech difficulties on
Can you
my
hear me,
end,
Isaac?
I cannot
I
hear you,
can
sir.
hear you. I can hear you both.
Isaac, you there?
Text Leo and tell him that it's definitely him.
It must be me.
Isaac, type it in chat. Guys, welcome to the show.
That's so weird.
This is the
Okay, I'll be
Amateur
right
Otaku
back because I
podcast.
can't hear y'all. Is that cool if I pop out, come back in?
Yes.
All right.
This
Isaac,
was
it's the
up
last
to
My Hero stream, but of course it falls apart, doesn't it?
that's on brand. It being chaotic. I mean, that's the
It's
entire
chaotic
stream.
as hell.
This is the channel in a nutshell.
I know,
back.
right? Leo, can you hear us now?
Yep, I can hear you guys. My bad.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. Cool. Where were we? Oh yeah. We're here. My Hero, final chapter. Reset, regroup. I'm on Mike, Deku's biggest fan. Joining me, of course, is the rest of the big three. The Mad Doc Isaac, falling down like a mighty Final Fantasy summon. How you doing, buddy?
I'm exhausted, but I'm good. I'm good. Thanks to Dr. Pepper, not sponsored stream.
Dr. Pepper, if you want to sponsor us, you can't sponsor any more of My Hero Academia streams, but you can sponsor the channel. We're going to be back here talking everything else in anime manga. Also joining us, Leo Rydell, Geekly Goods. Welcome back, bro.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be chatting My Hero Academia. I'm glad to have joined you guys along this road for quite a few of the streams. And here we are, guys, at the end of the road of My Hero Academia. It's kind of surreal and weird to get to the end because remember, we've been talking for maybe about a summer now or two about how it's like, dang, when are they going to end? When are they going to end? And now we finally have that last chapter, and I'm excited to talk about it.
It's gonna be a fun episode. It's a wild ride because I want y'all to remember the backbone of this channel is My Hero Academia. Like half the videos on this channel are My Hero Academia videos. We started covering the manga right after My Villain Academia, I would say. So that's about half the book. We've covered half of the book and 3/4 of the anime, and that is insane that we're at the end. But you know, maybe it's not the end. We'll see.
I mean,
my university is going to get announced as soon as this goes up.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. So we've been, for those of you who are watching, we've been going through arc by arc, talking about MHA. We last left off with All Might and Bakugo defeating All for One. We're going to pick up with the final battle, Deku versus Shigaraki. And this fight is interesting. We're going to kind of hit the broad strokes. I want to get your guys' thoughts on how it all goes down, right? Deku is intent on saving Tenko Shimura, who is deep, deep, deep inside of All for One and Tomura Shigaraki. But to do so, Deku ends up in Tenko's subconscious, and he sees the entire tragedy that happens to that kid and him decaying his family and how nobody was there for him except for All for One and how it molded him into Tomura. Deku ends up losing losing his arms in that fight trying to save this kid. Luckily, Eri, again, noble sacrifice, breaks the horn off, sends it to Eraserhead, and all of the heroes in Class A come to back Izuku up. Portals opening, clearly an Avengers Endgame homage. Leah, what was it like taking in the end of that final battle?
Man, I just got to that final battle and I was like, Endgame, we're here, MHA Endgame, we did it. Yeah, okay, so leading up to that kind of last 10 chapters, wow, it was taking a while. I will say, kind of like most big anime shows, when they get to these big, massive war arcs that end the series, we get a little mucky in terms of the storytelling. We take a lot of turns from the main story and the main continuity. So I'm glad we got those last 10 or so chapters to actually focus on the battle. I liked Deku going into the memories. I like that. I want to see how the anime kind of illustrates it, because I think reading it was so quick to blow through these things. And I think a few things needed a little bit more time to breathe. One being primarily the memories, him going through Tenko's memories and seeing that stuff. There is a resolution to that battle of, well, I can't save this dude. The dude was too far gone, and I get that. I think I needed maybe a couple more episodes, if you will, if we're talking anime, to just let that digest a bit.
Yeah.
I think we got from, I'm going to save Shigaraki no matter what I do, to, okay, this guy's too far gone a little quickly. And part of that is due to so much going on in the war arc. But I think that might be the one glaring issue I have out of all this. Otherwise, I thought the action was drawn well. I loved Deku's use of all of the quirks. Getting to see that in action was awesome. Part of me wanted to kind of see that. We saw it. What am I talking about? I was like, I wanted to see 100% plus ultra, but I'm like, we did. So, I like the end battle, and I actually love the ending. I just needed a little bit more time for some things to bake in the oven. I think there are some big ideas that got sidelined or rushed to the end. But all in all, it was a fairly good battle. I wanted some more time to breathe with some of it.
That's fair. One thing that was really interesting to me, and Isaac, we actually were talking about this before the stream started, so I'm going to change the question up for you. The idea that Deku, the big plan is now to get rid of One for All. Like the entire idea is that the vestiges can help defeat All for One on the other side. And kind of setting this up, Shigaraki is so far gone that All for One is now taken over again. Somehow, All for One has returned. He's just like a Star Wars reference. Like, that's probably the last Star Wars reference of the book. But what was it? What did you think of the idea of Deku having to sacrifice his quirks to defeat All for Shiggy? That's something that we've posed, like, as a theory we've had for a long time.
I mean, I'm thorn about it because if, and I mean as a big if, we aren't getting a sequel of some kind, I would have liked to see him keeping his quirks at the end, because it would have felt more satisfying at all. I mean, if you don't continue the show, he might as well keep them. But if we are getting a My Hero Academia sequel, whatever it's gonna be called, then I think it was a proper way to nerf him so that you can do a sequel down the line. Because if he had all those quirks, you pretty much would need to go, dare I say, space or interdimensional villains, and that wouldn't fit in My Hero Academia, if you ask me. But I mean, because how
you sure about
else
that?
would
You should. I feel like aliens fit MHA more than Boruto.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. But you get the idea. I mean, if you want to have it more, I don't know, but it's all about the what's the end result is going to be from here on out. Is it will there be a sequel? I'm totally fine, and I do think they did a proper job of with the ending. if it won't get the sequel, I would have preferred to see him keeping those Kirk. Don't know how he would incorporate that as a measure of defeating Shiggy. I don't know, but that's just my train of thought.
I kind of like the giving up.
That's interesting.
I'm so sorry. I'm on a delay. I apologize.
You're good.
I
You're good.
kind of didn't love, or I didn't love the idea of giving up One for All until we got to the end, when I was like, wait, this whole show is about being the greatest hero without superpowers, or giving it all up in order to become the greatest hero. Like the show being about like anybody could be a hero, anyone could wear the mask, Spider-Man, anybody could use the Force, Star Wars. I think that philosophy played out incredibly well with Deku giving up One for All, because then that there shows he knows he's a hero without One for All. He didn't need One for All to be a hero. And I liked the suit. I liked him getting the suit. And then that also brings more of an analytical approach to him using his abilities, which is how he used One for All anyway. So it's like, oh, if you have all these gadgets that have the same mechanics as One for All quirks, then he can strategically use them in a way that is going to give him the edge on the battle, instead of having to have the raw strength that All Might punched his way through.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a testament to who Deku is as a character, right? Like we have to think of what is the thesis, what is the entire point of My Hero Academia, right? And in a series that's 430 chapters, we can kind of forget what the main theme is, because we're dealing with the Todorokis, or we're dealing with Bakugo, or we're dealing with Endeavor, trying to atone for his mistakes, or the League of Villains. But like Deku's story from chapter 1, the very first thing he asks All Might is, do you think I can be a hero even if I don't have a quirk? And the show flips it on its head, right? And All Might's like, no, you can't. And he gives him a quirk, which has always been like a weird thing in the series to me, where it's like, okay, that's kind of a weird message to give to younger audiences, but all right, let's go with it. But the way Horikoshi brings it around, which is why I think the ending is so powerful, and we'll talk about that later, but like the idea that Deku becoming the greatest hero isn't about him getting rank 1. He doesn't have to be the number 1 hero. Deku became the greatest hero because he was able to save everyone and inspire hope in people. And he inspires Shigaraki to fight back. Like he and Shigaraki defeat All for One together. And like Leo's saying, Shigaraki's too far gone to actually be like redeemed. He can't be like Sasuke, right? He can't just be walking around like Orochimaru in the village at the end. But he was still able to help Deku save the day. And I love how Shigaraki's like, do your best. The world is in your hands now. And it's like, that is so powerful. I also love that those vestiges can now be at rest, right? They were just like specters watching from afar the madness of All for One, just like Nana Shimura lost her entire family. She saw her grandson become this monster. She can finally be at rest too, which I think is a powerful ending.
That's well said, because I feel like that ending wasn't even just for Deku. Now that you say that, it's like, damn, it's an end for all of them. Everybody who had One for All.
Yep. All Might, like the fact that All Might got his eyes back. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like his eyes are back, and it's like the man is well rested. The stress is gone. He can just live a normal life. He looks healthy. And it's like,
I mean, can you blame him?
Go ahead, Isaac.
I mean, can you blame him for looking healthy now? He doesn't have his arch nemesis breathing behind his back all the time.
But that's my point, right? It's like Deku saved so many people that day because he was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. And My Hero Academia is a superhero story, right? Like Steve Rogers would say, would you be the one to jump on the grenade, right? Or jump on the barbed wire and let somebody crawl over you? And that's the type of sacrifice Izuku made, where he's like, this is the one thing in life he's always wanted. But he knew this was he had to give it up. Like, he's the same kid who broke multiple bones just to prove a point to Todoroki to use his dang fire. Like, he threw the sports festival to save his friend. They were barely friends at that point. It's like, that's why I think this ending works so much for Izuku, whether he's quirkless as a hero or he just stays a teacher at UA. I don't think honestly, him getting a power suit to me is like, yeah, maybe we are getting a sequel, because him being a teacher, being Mr. Aizawa, that's dope. Like, he's so smart. Him being a teacher is probably, he's going to be way better than All Might. All Might was a terrible teacher. He had his kid breaking bones every other day.
Not to mention, he'll be also effective in the field because they're going to need a strategist. Ida is a leader. Bakugo is a powerhouse. You need a strategist. You need a Batman.
Yeah.
You got your Flash.
Yep.
You got your, I guess, Superman and Bakugo. You need a Batman. You need a dude who can disperse this team, who knows everybody's strengths and weaknesses. That's Deku.
Yep. And I think that's incredible. I love, one thing that's weird about that final fight is the fact that Bakugo comes out of nowhere at the end. And it's like, where did this dude come from?
Out of nowhere.
Like, Deku goes in for the last punch and homie's just like, die!
He always just be popping up. I'm like, this dude just appears, bruh.
and the thing that kind of annoys me with that is like, this dude was dead an hour ago. Time has not passed. For us, it's been like a year and a half. But like, this dude was dead an hour ago. He defeats All For One, and then he flies all the way to Deku with like his heart's about to explode out his chest because it's sewn together by Edge Shot. And it's like, really? All right.
He's the strongest hero. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see that and you're like, well,
yeah,
there's your number one.
He's got that dog in him, right?
Got that dog.
What did you guys think about, because this is a callback, like there's a lot of callbacks in these final chapters, but like the callback to when Deku changed the future through the power of faith and belief and prayer, right? Of like, that's how they changed, that's how he defeated Overhaul. Like, Night Eye saw certain death, but just the power of belief, they were able to overcome that. And so the idea of everybody like rooting Deku on, saying do your best, which is going back to like that first day at UA where Uraraka says Deku means do your best. How did that hit for you? Leo, you can go.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I was just like, I feel like that's the core of like actual heroism. You know what I mean? And actually doing something, achieving a great feat is doing your best. So I kind of feel like them being there to just be like helping Deku out in that. Fantastic, man. I mean, what better ending could you ask for? All of 1A just cheering on their boy Deku as he finishes it off. Like that. That's what I've always wanted. And I'm flashing forward a little bit here, but I love that he goes to Uraraka and he's like, you've been my hero this whole time because I've been saving everybody's fucking ass and you've been the one cheering me on the entire time. I love that, man. So good. So good.
Hello, John.
Hey, John.
Hey there, John. Let us know what you feel about this finale for My Hero Academia's manga. Isaac, Deku. He's the hero that does his best. It's the name of a hero. What did you feel about that moment?
Loved it. I mean, as a going back to what I say, sad because it's ended, or sad because you didn't like the ending, or. But
let us know your thoughts in the comments. Go ahead, Isaac.
No matter how split I am on the whole fight and all that, yes. Oh.
John, this is a spoiler discussion for the finale of the entire book. Come back to us when you get to season 7. We're talking about the anime in a few weeks, just for your own sake. Okay.
Okay. But the whole even if I am split about the whole fight, it still proves the point about how Deku is the ultimate hero. He showed the true heroism from start to finish. Start to finish, so. And that's why I'm okay with it, even though I would. But you guys have, how should I put it? With the whole, the Westages being able to have an ending, that also works. It makes me like the ending a bit more in that sense. And him saying to Uraraka that she was his hero, that made me okay. Are we baiting a certain thing, or are we just going into with the just you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, they could
Horikoshi
be a
took the safe
couple.
route. Horikoshi didn't want to trigger one of his fan bases.
Yeah, Brandon is coming
But-
later, so
He'll be here. But yeah, I guess that's a good transition to the epilogue, right? So Deku saves the day, vestiges are gone, and then it's just back to school, business as usual, which is so interesting. We wrap up the Todoroki subplot. Isaac, I know that you are a huge fan of the Todorokis, so I want your opinions on how that all wraps up.
speak of the devil, but
There's a devil here.
yeah,
Raw
yes, and it's you.
anime garb.
What
Raw-
up, man?
What's up,
Yeah.
yo?
How we doing,
Guys,
brother?
I'm
Yeah.
happy to be here. Happy to be here. So
You
excited to
broken.
talk my hero.
Brandon, they animated the scene, if you know what I mean. So
Oh, Galaxy,
in One Piece.
Galaxy
So
Impact.
that's why I picked that name. But anyway, I
Still.
love the ending for Todoroki's. Go and
Nice.
focus on that.
Nice.
Yeah, the Todorokis.
Yeah, Shoto.
Favorite? Ooh. At this point, I gotta go Izuku.
Oh,
Having full
oh, Deku,
picture,
baby.
it's Izuku.
I like how the
Easy.
it's Izuku 100% always, because I like how not only we brought everything home. First off, I don't know if we said anything about the ending. Where are we at right now? What are we talking about?
Epilogue.
We just talked Deku versus Shigaraki. We're kind of wrapping up the Todoroki subplot, but we can jump. It's fine.
Okay, no. I want to save it for that. But what a great way to a lot of authors.
Brandon, before you do, Leo, had you
Mhm.
said your favorite character?
Oh yeah, I said mine was Deku.
Okay.
Yeah, we all said Deku.
Okay.
Unanimous.
except-
Wait,
We all
yours
said
was
Deku.
Todoroki.
Apparently,
Yeah.
yours is Garp.
All right, we got one Todoroki in here. Ooh, John got a crush on Bakugo.
So
that fire
Kachan is
spirit
that
headline.
dude.
yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. Kachan be pulling them, bro. Yeah, Kachan be that
Sorry,
guy.
Isaac.
But a lot of mangakas and storytellers, right? Storytellers, period, for some reason are afraid to accept the facts of the world that they're building. Like the realities that they set up in the world, they get to a point where they feel that they've created too much of a tragedy or too much of a bad spot that they don't find their ways out of it. And Horikoshi-san was so wise because he put himself in situations with characters on purpose because he was willing to double down on the story that he was trying to tell, which is why the Todoroki's tale is wrapped so flawlessly, because it's a story about abuse. It's a story about legacy. It's a story about redemption. It's a story about atonement, and it checks all the boxes without feeling pedantic. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't check the boxes and then goes like, "Oh, I'm just doing this." No. The family is destroyed by the end of this, and they go out of their way of acknowledging it. The fact that Natsu says, "Okay, guys, I've done my part. I'm done. Like I'm walking away. You're not going to see me again, or don't come get like." The destruction was made, and the fact that Endeavor had to live there for the rest of his life and trying to make better, right? And the fact that the last words we hear Dabi say is, "I kind of also know that I have a part in the destruction of this family," like because he understands that he could have just tried to bond with Shoto again. Like he could have, when you see the tears falling through his scarred cheeks, it's because he's realizing, I could have rolled up and seek him. I could have, but I allowed myself to be consumed. He literally is just like Endeavor, which is why Shoto's story is so powerful, because just like Endeavor was blinded by his desire to be number one and to create a legacy of number ones, which is kind of like what his whole thing was. Dabi was blinded by his anger of not having the attention that he thought he deserved because of everything he allowed his dad to put him through. And Shoto is the one that broke with everything. So I like how it's so great. It's so great. It's so sad, but it's satisfying because it was always meant to be bittersweet, which is why on the last chapter, which again, I'm not jumping off, but you really never know how the family is doing right now, but you do get that one shot of the family walking and Endeavor is still on a wheelchair. You get that one shot far away, right? And to Mike's point, because we've talked about this extensively over the phone.
Hi, Didge.
Hey,
Go read
Didge.
it. It's great.
Go read it. It's worth it.
Pulling up
It's one of the
for
most
the
satisfying
last
endings I've ever. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like, but I love how, because, and I'm gonna say Mike called it. The one thing we hear about Shoto is how less and less people are reminded of Endeavor by him, because he's setting his own story. He's creating his own legacy. He's becoming his own hero.
It's your quirk, not his.
Yep. It's like Deku has been dropping bars the entire series, bro. And I love how it wraps up. Like, yes, Deku, we always kind of knew it, but I love how this chapter wraps up the story, recognizing, yeah, guys, Deku's been narrating this. We've always known it's been him. But I love how he ends it narrating it, but it gives us a nice little thing at the end, which I'm not going to talk about it now because we're going to get there. But yes, Todoroki,
Brandon,
well,
pull it back.
Wrap up. Yes,
we've been in the
I said Todoroki.
final chapter too much in your monologue.
I said Todoroki wrapped up good. I brought it back, bro. I brought it back.
There we go. Any other thoughts on the hellish Todoroki family before we move on?
I like their wrap up. I think they had a tragic ending, but a good ending, and especially one that was full of physical consequences as well.
Yes.
I mean, Endeavor put them through shit.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty deserved ending, I would say, for that family.
Yeah. It made me so sad seeing Dabi say, "I'm sorry, Shoto." And that hurt because, again, Dabi is still just that little kid who just wanted the love of his dad. And that's the path that Shoto was walking down. Shoto was headed towards the Dabi path. And Deku pulled him out of it. Which, seeing that resolution, that's why Dabi's such an interesting villain for Shoto, because he's a look into the possible future if Deku wasn't in his life. And Class A specifically wasn't in his life. And so I think that's the perfect wrap up. The one thing that I appreciate about this entire like epilogue is that it's a very realistic approach, like you were saying, Brandon, a realistic approach to all these stories. There's no fairy tale pie in the sky ending. It's just, hey, real people making real decisions and living with the consequences of those actions. And that takes us to, I guess we can briefly touch on Spinner. He's the only surviving member of the League besides Mr. Compress, who's in prison. We get like one shot of him reading the book in the final chapter. How did you guys feel about Deku's visit at the prison to deliver a message from Tomura Shigaraki? I thought that was an interesting play there. Anyone?
I love how
Bradon, go
I
for
love I was trying. I love how Deku, I think out of everything we've seen, right? That is the one scene where we see how much Deku has grown. Because this is Deku fresh off the battlefield, right? Deku fresh off back to civil life. This is not the last chapter. This is fresh off there. And you can see that he's grown up and he's taking responsibilities and he's able to handle the difficult conversation. You know what I mean? This is not Kashan screaming at him. He's being this representative of society and recognizes his role as that. And also recognizing his part in the whole battle against the League of Villains and the Liberation Front and all that. So I think I liked seeing Deku literally be the guy. You know what I mean? Because he's always been, I gotta this is Deku that he's finally figured it out. He knows how to play the role that he always wanted to play because he's been through it. So I like how real the conversations are. All the real conversations that are happening from this chapter onward. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah. When Deku visits Spinner, I don't remember which chapter this was. It's probably like 427.
427.
Or so,
I'm actually
something like
reading
that.
it right now. Oh, I missed that chapter.
Well,
welcome to My Hero. Welcome to the pod, Leo.
So I really appreciate that chapter because it's also Deku fulfilling his duty to Tomura Shigaraki, right? Like he gave him his dying wishes. Go tell Spinner that I was fighting to destroy until the very end. And he ultimately does. He helps Deku destroy All for One. And it again, the entire idea of the story is being able to be there for each other, even if you're a villain, right? Like Shigaraki was there for Spinner, and they were a close-knit group. They were a family. Like even Dabi, he acts like he doesn't care about them. That they were the closest friends he's had since, what happened with his own family. So I think the idea of Deku still extending out that olive branch to Spinner and taking it, right? He was being called a murderer. He was being called all these things. And he still walks away and he's like, you know what? Shigaraki's story still needs to be told. Make it a comic book, though, because we don't need another paranormal liberation redestro thing. It's like, yeah, that's interesting. And the book gets published. And I wonder, we don't know what the effects of that are going to be, but I think it's interesting. And it builds on, again, Deku, regardless of who you are, he still wants to be there and support you and help you, even if it's a character like Spinner.
No, and also
Isaac, any thoughts?
You took the words out of my mouth, so I don't really know what else to pop in on that regard.
Brandon, keep talking.
I love how much this manga comes back to the League of Villains thinking they're the heroes in this story. How many times we have this perspective of Shigaraki being their Deku. I love this, man. I was like, damn, I missed this chapter, fellas.
Yeah.
but I just got done, and man,
It's a good
this is
one.
a great chapter.
No, it does a great job. Also, I love how when you go back to that idea of let him know that I was destroying everything till the very end. It's
Mhm.
because he wasn't necessarily the whole thing about Tamura. It wasn't that he was just destroying hero society. He was trying to destroy the ideas of good and evil, the ideas that were mixed of what an actual hero is, what an actual villain is, and how those things play against each other and shape society. You know what I mean? Because it all goes back, which again, I'm not skipping, I promise, but it all goes back that what made Tenko this vulnerable little boy that became Tomura Shigaraki was that because he looked like a bad guy, everybody just ran away from him. Because and the idea that it was built on those perceptions and that's how people accept the reality as what it was. I found it very fascinating how that's why Deku's taking it, because he came to terms. That's Deku coming to terms that Tomura was right. Everything that happened needed to happen. It needed to be broken. It needed to be rebuilt because the system wasn't working for no one. And this war was society paying the price because of the way the system was built up to be.
Yep. Nail
Now
on the
hold
head.
on, what happens when MHA 1A class 1A start talking about? Well, we doing the ranks again, and no, I'm just we're going back to the rank system. No.
Oh, we'll get into that. What chapter? It was like what 428, where All Might and Hawks have that conversation. Of Hawks is like, "We're going to bring the rank system back. But we're going to do it a little different." So we assume Hawks improved it, but we don't know really how.
It's funny because when you think about it, it wasn't. It's funny because it's strictly popularity. It wasn't based on save or recognition. It was popularity. That's why Kashan keeps getting knocked down, because he treats his fans like shit.
Well, in the original ranking system, it was a bit of both. That's why Endeavor was number 2. Nobody liked him, but he saved a lot of people. You know,
right? So
whereas
now it's
Hawks didn't save as many people, but he's so freaking charismatic. He was 3.
Yeah.
Lemillion being the number 1 hero, though, buddy, loved it.
Yep.
But
Isaac,
yeah. So I guess that's a wrap on. Good.
428. No, 428. Go. You're going to 429 now.
The chapter where we find out who Deku's biggest hero actually is. This chapter hit so hard, and I love how Horikoshi sets it up in the scene, right? Of like throughout the entire epilogue, and even as readers, you can kind of feel it. Deku and Uraraka acting a little weird. Like Deku was very solemn and quiet after everything that's happened. He's not smiling that much. Uraraka barely looks at him, doesn't talk to him. The only thing she says is, "Your hair looks weird," and then she runs away. And then you realize that everything that happened with Himiko is weighing on her, and we have an entire video discussing the mad love situation there on this channel. Check that out. We don't have to rehash that, but the weight of that is getting to her, and she breaks down crying. And what does Deku do? Reaches out a hand, grabs her, and reminds her of everything she's done. Season 1, USJ. That season 1 was fantastic. That USJ fight, All Might throwing the Nomu up into the sky, 300 mighty blows, iconic. Love it.
That was something else, man. I remember seeing that. I was like, this is the anime for me. Like this shit right here is for me.
I was so locked in. I like
So
the
good.
fact that I was so locked in off of Deku throwing a punch and not breaking his arm for 1 second. I'm just like, let's go. But
I mean,
back to this conversation. 400 chapters later. Deku and
Literally.
Uraraka, so cute. I'm gonna lob it up. Isaac, talk about it. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it makes sense that they would have a end talk with each other, but at the same time, going back at what I talked about earlier, I just laughed my ass off that they, should I say, baited the fan base in this regard. In how
You mean like they made it
people-
look like it was going to be a romantic thing, but it wasn't?
yeah,
They
I
pulled
li-
the twisters.
I liked it. I liked it.
Me too.
Okay.
I liked it, man. Listen,
Not
here's my thing.
twisters.
Give us that tension. Give us that moment. They're kids, though. I don't need to see them
Yeah.
have a loving kiss as children. But then when they do the
Nah.
time skip,
Especially that's not what that
at
moment
least
called
been holding
for
hands.
either.
huh?
I was saying that's not even what the moment called for. Like she's bawling her eyes out from emotional trauma. He's not gonna come in here and smooch her.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, I know. But I'm
Where's
just saying
Steve?
there's not-
Where's
I'm
Steve
glad there's
Yen
not-
going? Emotional damage.
but yeah, I think it was a cute
Like,
moment.
I will say,
but it still was a humoristic ending because of how they baited a certain fan base. So it was.
I don't even think it's
great.
bait though. That's just the fan base being like, they baited you.
To be fair,
Brandon, you're muted. Unmute.
That's when everyone's saying that the My Hero fan base is toxic. It's just that I think it's so funny. I keep hearing that the My Hero fan base is toxic, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not in social media enough to probably know how true this is and how true it possibly really is. But if you're actually reading it, you're happy with the results of it. You
These
really don't.
people, let me tell you, this fan base, no, they are not. They're pissed. There's some people pissed about the ending. Like this fan base, man, they be raging. Don't go on the Reddit.
Damn these guys.
Because
I will say it depends. It depends on who in the fan base you're talking to. Like, I feel like My Hero's fan base is toxic, sure, but I can't sit here and say they're more toxic than Jujutsu Kaisen fans. You know, I can't.
No, you don't.
I can't. Yeah, like I can't sit here and say that they're more toxic than the rivalry between Naruto and One Piece, right? Or Bleach.
Oh,
Like,
there's a rivalry there?
I think they're just toxic in the.
Oh,
Didn't notice?
Oh, shots fired.
No.
Shots fired.
Hey, man.
It's the rivalry the same way the U.S. and Australia have a rivalry. Nobody heard.
There's a reason why there's a meme of.
That's my point.
You see Sanji. There's a reason why there's a scene of the meme of when you see Sanji and Zoro clashing with each other as usual, and they put Bleach fan, or Naruto, Bleach / Naruto and One Piece. Then you see Whitebeard and Goldie Roger in another having Sake with each other, and they put Kishimoto and Oda or.
Oh boy.
Isaac,
like
you trying
that.
to describe a meme is so awkward. Go find the
Okay,
picture and share it
Man,
later.
if you could
Yeah.
put that over, that'd be great.
But no, like My Hero's fan base being toxic is, you know, whatever. All fandoms are toxic. I mean, Star Wars exists. I feel like we need to just shut up about My Hero's fan base.
Yes, and I think it's I think a lot of us. I mean, we all do it to a degree, but I think one of the things that my biggest thing that I try not to do, but then again, that's just me, that hurts me when I talk to other fans sometimes, is that sometimes we like something so much that we don't accept it for what it is and try and find the good for what the text has, as opposed to, and we try and put more of ourselves into the text as opposed to just enjoying the text.
Okay, that meme is so.
Oh, look, you found it. Yes, so good.
That's just a prime example. Here we have the narrative equivalent, but the point still is the same.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean,
But
I don't see.
Deku, Uraraka, getting back on the topic at hand there, I feel like,
Yeah,
again, you're right. If you're reading the book and you're following the character arcs of both characters, Uraraka's entire arc is realizing that, yes, she does have romantic feelings for Deku, but there are so many other things in her life that are vastly more important. She had to learn to
Yes.
prioritize those things.
Yep.
And maybe we get My Hero the Last, and we get the moment where, you know, they pursue those romantic feelings. But like
My Hero the
Deku,
Last.
while he also had a
Naruto and Hinata.
seriously, I would be surprised. Horikoshi loves his movie so much. I wouldn't be surprised if his last
Okay.
story is going to be a movie.
So let's have the conversation. Let's just put the ship thing down before we continue, because you set it up. So I'm gonna say, who's Deku's best man?
Bakugo, Ida, and Shoto will all be his best man. He'll be one of them that have all of them have equal importance.
If it's not Bakugo, who's the bride?
Well, those theories are floating around.
Buddy.
I'm just saying. Horikoshi
You're
didn't
right,
have the
like-
guts to commit to one. They're both still on the table.
You're right, man. I mean, listen, we apologized.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe
but
the anger was a little bit fueled by a little bit more than jealousy, huh?
It's got to be Bakugo. We bring of course the master of ceremony is going to be Togata. Aries, a flower girl. You know, it's happening. Eri and Koda.
We just gonna skip over Shoto and Ida like this for best man?
Yo. They got other things to do. Shoto doesn't like the spotlight. Lita's probably the wedding planner. Come on now.
That's fair. But
Hey,
you gonna let Ida? You think Ida gonna not be best man and let that go? Nah.
but here's the thing. I mean, are there? Is this? I don't know what Japanese tradition is. If there's multiple best men in a wedding and stuff like that, there's probably the groom party. But I don't know about.
Let me
best
check.
man.
I'm just saying Deku is one of the kind of characters that gonna be like, oh,
This has devolved so fast.
Okay, so let's get back.
That's
Let's get back.
damn
We
it,
just
you're
got
talking for you.
consumed by the shipping wars. This is not. Of course, My Hero Academia ends in the shipping war. That's insane. How did we get?
My
No.
wedding academia?
Yeah, it's not gonna be. It's what is this, like an American Pie sequel?
Yep.
Instead of my Hero the Last, is My Wedding Academia. That's so bad. Jennifer Lopez has a cameo.
But no, like I love the wrap up of that
Listen.
arc. I love the idea of maybe there was gonna be a kiss, but Class A was the ultimate cock block. For like
It was class 1A.
like there was gonna be a moment, and then all of them come running in, and it's just like,
Yep.
all right, well,
Yep. And the
put
first
that
thing
on
you
hold for
see
8 freaking
is
years.
Dark Shadow just hovering in the night. Like, but I do like.
We didn't talk about it.
How solid
Go ahead, Brandon.
Bakugo is. I'm sorry. How solid. I like the big deal that's made of the Ember of One for All.
Mhm.
I love how that's been a very big topic throughout the epilogue. Like, to the point that after he does what he does, again, he jumped without thinking. That's just what a hero is. That's what's Deku's nature, right? And then Bakugo and Kashin goes, hey, how much did you use up? Because, you know, Kashin has become, he still's going to scream at everybody, but if you need someone to count on to keep you in check and take care of you, Kashin is now that guy. I love how their relationship has evolved to knowing that there's no better teammate than Bakugo for Deku.
And remember, All Might's the one that got him on that. All Might was the one that set that afoot because he was like, you are the one to be his right-hand dude. You.
Yep.
Bakugo.
I wanted to go back because we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but like when the battle's over and they're in the hospital and like Bakugo
Bro.
breaks down into tears
Because,
and he's like, I thought we were going to be able to do this forever. And it's like, damn.
no,
Hits.
and the crazy thing is what that is setting up. What that conversation is actually setting up. That's the wild stuff, bro.
Is he froze for anybody? Oh,
Yeah,
he was
froze.
Definitely froze, and now he's Garp. We can hear him though, so that's fine. But yeah, totally. Like what that sets up later is so interesting. Closing out the Deku Uraraka stuff, I love how it like Horikoshi uses the epilogue to remind us what the main story beats of this story were. Because I think again, after 10 years, you kind of forget that Uraraka is why Deku goes by Deku. Like she tells him that means you can do it. And that becomes a central like rallying cry for Izuku throughout the entirety of the series. I'm the Deku who always does his best. I'm the hero who can do this. And her being the one to get him back into 1A, her giving her like willing to sacrifice her points, being selfless to let Deku into UA in the first place. Like all these moments of Uraraka having his back and Deku realizing that, because in the infamous episode that Isaac forgot existed, Deku versus Kacchan Part 2, Deku says that while All Might was his hero, Bakugo was the one in his life. And so in that moment, he's like, you were kind of my hero too. But after all this time, Deku realizes Uraraka's the one who was never a bully and who was always there she knows him as plain-faced falling boy is what she calls him at the start of the series. She doesn't care about his quirk. She doesn't care about what he looks like. She doesn't care what Deku initially meant. She's just like, you're cool. I like you. And throughout the entire series, they've had each other's back and they've been like this. So whether it's platonic or romantic, I love that relationship and Deku realizing how important Uraraka is to him.
Yeah.
It ain't platonic. He ain't gonna call a platonic relationship his hero. I was like, nah, I know what you doing, Deku.
Okay. I guess
She's his hero.
I can be your hero, baby.
He needed a hero, and he called Uraraka.
that's fair.
From
I
zero
mean,
to
he
hero.
go. That's zero to hero. Okay, Hercules. The fact that he used some of his embers to just to reach out to Uraraka is also like, dude, you could have just walked up there, but that's how much he cared that he was like, I'm gonna use the last bits of my power to get to this girl. It's like, all right. Dun dun dun.
Now,
Brandon, moving on.
I was gonna.
All you.
No. Before that, we got to wrap up the chapter because one of the most important. So the actual story of the war arc ends in chapter 429 because we go back to that one character that we saw 2 chapters ago that's coming out bloodied and tattered and wrapped in bandages, that he's coming out from the alleyways, and another Tenko Shimura figure coming to the streets, right? And here's where we actually see the effect that Class 1A, that Deku, Great Explosion, Murder God, Dynamite, Shoto, all these kids and all these heroes have had on society. This is how you know that they've made a difference, because in this particular case, when you have this guy going like, why did I suffer? Why was I the only one that went through this? And the same old lady that ran away from Tenko actually offers this kid a helping hand. That's when you go like, damn, Kohei, you didn't have to do that, bro. Horikoshi-san, you didn't have like. This is him going beyond. Like this is him going plus ultra, like going hard on this, right? Like the
He
idea.
said it. He said the thing.
I did it, Yuli. But I love how society now is understanding their role in their own development and in the creation of heroes and villains, which is actually the whole one of the bigger points of the story, right? The fact that this kid is able to find someone that is willing to give him a hand. Like, to me, this is one of those moments that I was like, man, he's doing all the right things. Like, I cannot be angry because he's finding so profound and creative ways to wrap things up. And this is one of those story beats that I wasn't thinking that he will revisit this way. But he did it, and it pays off so well. So well.
It pays off the start of the story where Deku says, "This is the story of how I've become the world's greatest hero."
Yeah.
Because his change is he changed society. He changed the world. He doesn't get the stupid rank of like #1 hero Deku. Sure, but like that's not what it means to be the greatest. He never said I became the #1 hero. I became the world's greatest hero.
He's #1 to us though.
And no, but he also but he stops
I'm his biggest fan.
But he goes beyond from greatest hero, and halfway through the story, he starts saying, "This is how we became the greatest."
Yeah.
And I love how it's not just his
kind
journey.
of a cop out to me, but I get it.
Hey man, it pays off though. Have you seen that final panel? Just saying.
Yeah, I get it. It's the fact that Deku's the narrator of the whole story, so it's like Deku, you tell future Deku's telling the story the whole time. Why are you switching up on me halfway? Just start the beginning that way.
He got a note from his editor,
but I get it.
Stretch. The editor was like, stretch.
It wasn't just you, okay? But yeah, let's talk about 430, bro. Because
I got you. So back in the day when we were doing these weekly, we would go page by page. And I feel like it's fitting for us to just go page by page. We start off page 1. It's page 0. It's the final color page of My Hero Academia. And it's a recreation of the first volume of Deku with his backpack and all the heroes and All Might behind him in the distance. This time, fully formed Class A, All Might, Eraserhead, and Deku. It's got the biggest smile on his face. It's amazing. It's so heartwarming. Yeah. Officially, page 3, the actual beginning of the book, Deku repeats the narration from chapter 1. Not all people are born equal. And he reminds us of the lesson he learned at age 4, and then everything he learned at the age of 17, which is the entirety of My Hero Academia. We see that we are in the future because there's a kid who says Midoriya, I mean Deku Sensei, which is clearly Koda.
Yep.
And Brandon, who is Koda's classmate.
The kid that was saved by this old lady at the end of chapter 29.
Perfect.
Yes. No, and the also thing is, one of the things that you didn't mention, I don't know if you were working your way towards, but the first lines are not the reminder. The first lines of the chapter is Tomura Shigaraki saying it's already been destroyed. That depends on what you people decide tomorrow. And this literally setting the stage, this chapter is about tomorrow. It's what happens tomorrow. And yeah, man. Yeah. And of course, when you see the angle of Deku, his voice, and the suit, because he's a teacher now, like so great. And also
he learned how to tie a freaking tie.
And that suit is, what is that suit, Mike? What is that suit? It's a callback to the original Deku design.
Jack Midoriya, holy crap.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Which, by the way,
So for those who don't know, check out my TikTok.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing.
no, and
That is Jack
the
Midoriya. Look,
and 4:30 ends with Jack Midoriya, gadget version Jack Midoriya. He brings it all
Yeah.
back. Yo.
So for
Horikoshi been
okay, I'm gonna
cooking,
take 2 minutes to explain this entire lore. My Hero Academia is Horikoshi's passion project. His first ever one shot is a story called My Hero. He wrote it about 14 years ago. It's about this character named Jack Midoriya. He wants to be like his idol. His idol is technically Snipe in Boku no Hero Academia. If you guys didn't notice that, but he wants to be like the number one hero. He doesn't have any powers. He questions if he can be like his idol. He creates a gadget like techno-based suit to become a hero. But then he realizes at the end of that story, he doesn't need to be a superhero to be the hero in somebody's life, and he can still do good and help those around him in his community. And that's the true essence of being a hero. And Horikoshi, the editor's note was, I want to revisit this world and this story and expand on it. And that is this freaking book. And so we come all the way back around to that. Good catch, Brandon. I missed that. Holy crap.
Yep. They're doing the whole thing, bro.
But Deku
I had to change that story up because the
Coda
superhero
and
named
his
Positive is not great. Sorry.
oh yeah, Positive is whack. All Might is 1,000 times better of a name. It's 2 on the nose.
Yep.
Yeah. Minata. Yeah. That's crazy. We only improved from there, I guess.
Hey man, if you start from the bottom, everything else is an improvement.
How does it go? Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
I am gonna say this is the next splash page, which is pages 4 to 5. By the way, this is the last couple of chapters of My Hero are some of the best to read, like on a tablet, especially if you're doing landscape mode, because this splash page of seeing where everyone's been throughout the years, it's literally a splash page of all the little things that happened in the last year. You even get a little picture of graduation and Bakugo doing the same thing as Togura did and blowing the freaking
It's
stage.
tradition. It's not just Bakugo, it's him and
tradition.
Monoma. Monoma takes his quirk and they both blow it up. It's amazing. We
So
can
good.
glance through. We'll speed run it because there's a lot going on here. We see that Deku lets go of the embers of One for All. He's officially quirkless. I'm going to toss this to you, Leo. Again, we kind of touched on it a bit. Deku just letting it go. I think it's kind of powerful how, if you remember, when All Might was losing One for All, he was huddled over the fire trying to make sure it doesn't die out. And Deku's just like,
Man, I might use the last little bits of that like he only had one fucking square of toilet paper left and he had to go to the bathroom. So that man was using and gassing out as many embers as he can. I like
he was running with a low gas light for like 5 years.
Driving around with the engine check light on.
Yo, everybody got in the same car as him and went, buddy, should we go?
Hey,
like,
man,
do we need to I can drive my car, okay?
Like, hey, I'm seeing that light over there.
I can get a few more miles out of this. Don't worry.
So
All Might was on that shit up until United States of Smash.
Yep.
I'm going to keep on rolling until the wheels fall off. But you know what? I love that Deku embraced what he knew, that he's a hero without One for All.
Yep.
And that right there was that moment that he knew, I can be a great hero without this.
Yep.
Love it.
So we get a nice glance of Miriko. Apparently she's going crazy with prosthetics because now she has like a bomber pistol arm and whatever. We have All Might helping Gran Torino walk again. We see Tentacle dealing politically with the different heteromorphs. We see Coda. We see.
Are Coda and Eri on a date? What is happening there?
Yeah, they're all
know.
holding hands. I'm like, hold
Yep.
on now.
Yep.
Not too young for that.
So we see President Mike and Aizawa possibly in their friend's grave. We see the Todorokis.
Is that Midnight's grave or is that
I wouldn't be surprised because it's the
Kurogiri's
both
grave?
of them. I'm assuming it's Kurogiri because it's the both of them.
Yeah, probably Kurogiri's.
It has to be. So I don't know who that lady is that's saying hi to the class there. Deku.
That's
and...
Melissa Shield.
Is that who she is?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
We got her in main continuity again.
They've done it a couple of times, but yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad it's like official. Mount Lady.
All of the movies have been confirmed to be canon in these last like 15 chapters. By the way, we saw Rhodey cheering Deku on as he fights Shigaraki.
Yep.
It's like, nice.
And then we also see Bakugo like doing exercises with his right arm to get it back to strength. That's hilarious. So do we?
Ida got the new outfit.
Oh boy, with the mask is accepting a award.
Yes, and we got Lita with the new cut though too.
Like that cut looking fire, man.
Yes,
like,
yes.
That's a reference, right?
What, Lita getting a cut?
Yeah. Hold on. Isn't he that dude from like
the
the meme? Isaac, help me out here. Ida's definitely a reference. Ace Attorney, I think.
Oh my god, yes!
Oh no!
Yes! Oh my god,
What?
yes!
What page again?
We're in page 5, where he's doing the presentation at the graduation.
Yeah. But like, all
That
he
is
has to do
definitely an
is do
Ace
the
Attorney.
classic
Wait.
Ida,
Question.
and it's the same thing.
So you're saying that's Mr. Compress?
Yes, Ace
Okay.
Attorney.
No, but is that Mr. So you're saying the one reading the book
with
is
the
Mr.
League
Compress?
of Villains book? Yeah, that's Mr.
Okay.
Compress. He's reading the book.
Okay, so I have a question. Is that Izuku's dad, or has he been lying to us all this time and we don't know who his dad is?
His dad is
Lies.
Oh,
named.
Deku's dad never shows up.
Yep. Kohei. At least
I'm
show
just
him.
gonna
At
assume his
least,
dad is
at least
Jack
show
Midoriya.
him. At least, I really would just hope that at least in the wedding we see the dad.
He's like
Here's the thing about
He's
Deku's
always
dad.
working overseas. He has a job.
Yeah.
He's
They-
just he's absent because he's working.
Ultimately teased us in seeing the dad in the last part of the Ash
No,
journey.
we
in the
need
Pokemon anime.
we need something
I'm
official.
serious.
We deserve something official. So everything else, it's just
I'm gonna bring us all back to Earth for a second, okay? Deku's dad has only been referenced in this book one time. It is in chapter 1 where Inko says, "I have a levitation quirk," and his dad breathes fire. Deku was 6. That man could have died. They could have gotten divorced between that point and when he meets All Might. His dad's just not around, man. Like, the problem is Horikoshi said you'll see him by the end of the series. If he never said that, we wouldn't be thinking about this because there's nothing in the book that ever states that Deku's dad would ever show up.
now top of the page 5. Are they just chilling, or are they going out? I'm sorry, I have to ask. What do you guys think? I think they're just chilling.
Deku and Uraraka? I don't know.
I think they're just chilling.
Top of page 5. Oh, I think they're on a date, bro.
Hey.
I think they're on a date.
We need
now.
that
Like,
scene.
I think him saying she's his hero is kind of like a little bit of a confession. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading a little too deep into it, but I'm like, I think that was kind of like you've had my back.
This is one of the best splash
You my
pages I've
girl.
seen in a long time. I like all the little things and how it goes with Izuku letting go of One for All, and then the 8 years later.
To answer the question about the whole date thing before I move on, I feel like the problem to me is that Horikoshi is the master of setup and payoff, right? There is a moment where Himiko Toga says that she's in love with Izuku. And he's like, in love? Like people who go on dates? Like when you go and share a crate at a festival? So if Deku and Uraraka are on a date, they should be sharing a freaking crate. That would be the way to confirm it without actually stating it. Them just standing there next to each other, like they do that every freaking day. I don't know if this is a date or not.
And they're both
But
in
if
their
Deku
school
and Uraraka were
uniforms.
splitting
And that's
a
what I
crate,
mean.
I'd get it.
Yeah. Fair enough. So we get the 8 years later.
He clearly sets up Deku's vision of what a date would look like. 8 years later.
I can't hear you, Leo. I can't hear you.
Audio, like you're not muted, but the audio's cut. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Can't hear you, bro.
No,
No.
we can't hear you.
There's
It's
no,
as
I don't know,
chaotic as
man.
it started.
You jump in whenever, like talk, say something. We're gonna keep on talking. Hopefully we can hear you. Still can't though.
So 8 years, 8 years later, right? I love that the chapter picks up where the story started in a classroom and kids figuring out
Middle school.
what their next step is going to be. And then we see Hatsume has her own agency, but apparently still doesn't know the value of a shower. We have the young lady that wants to be a doctor. We have Gel Ink. Everybody caught that, right? Gel Ink.
No, I'm.
Explain for the people who may have not.
GE for gentle criminal and L for LeBron.
Oh,
Gel Ink. So, but of course, LeBron was the boss because last time Gentle Criminal was in charge, he didn't do all that great. So I'm glad that he opted with LeBrava. Whatever you tell me to do.
And they're married. It's so cute.
And
they're married now. Aw.
Yep.
Yeah, they got they got the wedding bands on. It's like, oh, I caught that. Cute.
But
That's the ship that was confirmed, everybody. Gentle and LeBrava.
Hey,
Well, we
you
see
want-
that coming
for
from a mile
context.
away now, didn't we?
Set up, bro.
For
Set up.
context, Brandon, I know you don't pay attention to the leaks before the chapters come out. Somebody was like, a ship is confirmed in the final chapter. And everybody's like, oh, Deku Uraraka. Oh, Deku and Bakugo. Oh, Momo and Shoto. And it's just like, no, it was Gentle and LeBrava.
So
that was
bad.
troll.
Wait,
so
Momo
funny.
and Shoto?
Yeah, that one. Was there ever a hint of
Huh?
that?
Momo is
They had a
Grady.
whole thing in season 2. It was so long ago. It's all right.
Wait, but Momo is Grady, right?
Yeah.
If
What?
anything, she ends up with Ida, in my opinion. I don't think it's Shoto though.
She has more
yes,
scenes with
yes.
Shoto.
Oh yeah, Momo and Shoto did have the little when they were in the formal stuff. They were doing a dance or whatnot. Yeah, I could see them two getting together.
She ended up
Momo
with
and Ida,
Zero.
I don't know about that.
But
Ooh,
So
my shipping academia. This is what this episode is.
we have not talked about any ships
So
in any episode of any recording, but we're doing it now.
Itty.
Damn it! You
It's like this is a
subreddit
core part of
bastard.
this fandom, and we ignored it for so long. But it all bubbles up at the end. Hilarious. Did you guys hear
Did we
that?
just?
So, page
Well-
7, we're reintroduced to the character Dai. And I say reintroduced because we have met him before. He wants to be a hero,
Wait,
but he has
where
a-
have
a
we met him before?
Season 5, episode 25 of My Hero Academia. Right before the war starts, he and his mom go visit the All Might statue. And then Hawks is like, it cuts to like Hawks' narration of like, the war is coming. And that's the last episode. And then the war arc starts. I don't know what chapter that would be, but Horikoshi had this like 7-year-old kid looking up at All Might with his little toy.
Damn. Damn.
But yeah, this kid is not at random.
I love this.
So Dai's back.
Yes. Awesome.
Dai's
Awesome,
back. He
awesome,
wants to be a hero. He gets bullied. Nobody thinks he can actually do it. He has flashbacks of when he was younger. He remembers watching All Might and Deku and Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite on TV, and of course Shoto.
The name stick, by the way.
Bakugo really
Great
kept that
Explosion
name.
God. Yes.
But he's unsure if he can be a hero, and he keeps being told that dream is lame. There's not even really a need for heroes in this modern world, but he keeps going to the All Might statue, right? And then we get the updates on what's happening with Class A. I'm gonna hold all that stuff off because this chapter is cut a little weird if we're trying to like break it down page by page.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna toss it to you, Leah. What are your thoughts on introducing this new Deku-like figure in the last chapter?
Well, he's not new, right? The kid?
Technically, no, but
Him being presented.
we
as a
didn't have really
Deku-like
like
figure.
much of a role. Yeah.
We set him up, y'all. This is the payoff to setting him up. No, I'm just playing. I like it because, of course, it brings the perspective right back around to Deku. Now he's the All Might passing on the knowledge. Love it, man. I mean, I think this chapter is the perfect way to end. And you know what? They did not get to the ending. And then Bakugo's like, I'm going to challenge you for number one hero. And then there's a battle again. Cough, cough, Naruto. Not that the Naruto
Hey, not too much on Sasuke.
Hey, it was great. Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is a nice, calmer conclusion where it's not like, hey, Bakugo, we finally getting that match. Nah, we come back around to the core message of this. I can't be a hero. Yes, you can. Love it, man. I mean, It's a beautiful moment. And the fact that we saw this kid already kind of setting the stage for this moment, fantastic, bro. Once Isaac mentioned it, I was like, damn, maybe that is Mineta's kid. Oh, wait, the time doesn't link up, but
I mean,
be funny.
Just like a joke. If a woman get a kid with Mineta, how desperate would that woman
A woman
be?
got with Goku's dumbass. I mean,
Listen,
I think that it's not impossible.
I mean, are you really saying that the Goku? Okay.
So
Isaac,
give
just
your
to put in
thoughts on the thing.
perspective. But before you do, I just want to point out, I'm going to defend the honor of Minoru Mineta one last time. This dude was at the final battle. He helped defeat All for One and Tomoe Shigaraki and save the world. He could probably pull anyone he wants with that. Like, I mean, he's got that card he can always pull out now.
He got that Danny
I'm an
DeVito
Avenger,
energy,
dude.
He got that Danny DeVito.
I
energy.
saved the world. As long as he stopped acting like if he matured out of being Mineta, I think he'd be okay. Because like he's got the accolades now. Talk, Isaac, please.
Fair enough.
Software silence.
Fair enough.
All Might with the eyes open look weird, bro.
That to me is so. Isaac, you got something on this before I go?
He said it a little earlier.
Talk. I said what I said.
Okay, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I don't think he was here, Isaac.
Well, he said.
I was just
talk,
saying
talk.
that. Yeah.
So one of the things that I go ahead.
I was just gonna say that if never mind, go forth.
Gee.
I am fourthing. So one of the things that I love about this is that I see what you said, Leo. I see it a little bit differently. I don't see that Deku is necessarily the All Might figure, because what I like about the fact that we go back to the statue is it's highlighting the idea that even though society was still broken at the height of All Might's power, All Might did indeed fulfill his dream of giving the world a symbol of peace. Because to this day, even after the war, this kid goes to the All Might statue because it is the symbol of peace. So Deku did not replace All Might. All Might is.
No. I'm saying he's like in that perspective of the mentor now, though.
Oh no, yeah. I agree. Yes, but but what I was going to say is I like the fact that the symbol of peace and All Might and who he was and who he is still shining brightly because of everything that the kids were able to achieve, right? Like that's everything started with All Might. Everything started with All Might's dream, and I love that is still front and center in the story. And then how Deku is able to be that mentor, right? And be that person that's able to say to this kid, yes, you can be a hero. And because he can highlight, because of the change that Deku was able to make to society, because as a symbol of peace, they're giving, All Might is giving the world hope. And then Deku is a different symbol that shows people how everybody can be a hero, not just superpowered beings. And that's what Deku is bringing to the table. And I love how both are two sides of the same coin for what a real hero is. And I love how Rokoshi brings that full circle with this moment and with the character of Dai.
Speaking of the All Might statue, I really love, because like you were saying, All Might's dream, right, and his ideal. All Might fought in that war, and he and Bakugo defeated all for one. And so it's like, it's not like All Might is like this old, like from back in the day. Like All Might was there to the bitter end fighting because Deku inspired him to fight through broken
because
bones,
Deku is All Might's greatest hero. Yo,
right. And so it's like All Might statue, yeah, it's All Might, but it's also like All Might is now a symbol of fight to the bitter end, right? He's also a symbol of being a hero without a quirk, because that's what All Might did. And it's like, All Might, you're so cool. you just get cooler and cooler as the story goes on.
Yep.
We get to see snapshots of what's happening with Class A. We see that Tentacle is just like the ambassador of peace with the heteromorphs, and like he was able to take over what Spinner wanted to do in a less aggressive way and like bring about great change there. We see that Uraraka is basically doing like quirk therapy, helping people with their powers and like get a better understanding, make sure they don't end up like Himiko Toga, which honestly,
that was
Uraraka's
so
ending
great.
Might be the best ending in the entire story. No lie.
No joke. Yeah, that's a hell of a good ending.
Agreed.
Like, God. Aries going to music school and she's got friends, and that's just adorable and heartwarming.
Yep. I do find it
'cause she's our
interesting.
baby.
She'll never break a string, because if she ever breaks a string, all she has to do is turn back and restore it. She'll never have to buy a string ever.
Yeah. Eraserhead's got the time skip haircut. Somebody had to be the sacrifice, and it was Aizawa. He's got the bowl cut. I don't really like it. But he and Izuku are colleagues now. They're just chatting about how Bakugo is still being a freaking loudmouth bastard.
Yep.
I love the discussion between them, though, of like the hero charts and everything, and like Bakugo's gonna fall down the poles again. Like I wonder what Bakugo's like, because Eraserhead makes the comment, and this is again, there's a whole misconception about Deku's friends ghosting him for 8 years, which is just completely wrong. You didn't read the chapter right. But like Eraserhead's like, weren't you supposed to help him with this? And it's like, I wonder if Bakugo like goes through like counseling, and it's like he climbs up the charts because he starts being nice, and then he just falls back down because the inner monologue of Bakugo comes out. He's like yelling again. Was there anything that stuck out to you guys from these endings so far? Shoji, Uraraka, seeing what's up with Bakugo.
No. Well, the thing that did stick out for me is how why took it 8 years for them to give him that suit? The Iron Man suit at the end. That's just my
We'll
question.
get there. We'll get there. We haven't gotten to that moment yet. We're going in order. But Brandon, he'll answer your question in a bit. We catch up with Todoroki. the entire idea of Endeavor is basically fading away. And I want to go back to page 4 and Endeavor. We reference him being seen there. Endeavor's still in the wheelchair. You notice that those are his sidekicks, not his family. In that, so I wonder what happens to the Todoroki.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's Burnin and the rest of his sidekicks.
Yeah.
So it's like, does Shoto stop associating with Endeavor as well, or
Interesting.
we'll see.
So he's not
That's
working
the
for
last-
he's not working for Endeavor's agency then. He's doing his own
Right.
thing.
It's not Endeavor's son anymore.
So I think that's interesting. This is the last time. That's the last time we see Endeavor. And I think it's such a fascinating take of we built up his atonement, right? And it's like, well, he stopped Dobby. That was the best he can do. He doesn't deserve forgiveness. He doesn't
all
deserve
the
more of
stuff
the
he put
story.
that family through. It's like, well,
Yep.
you got what you got what you gave.
But I like the fact that his
Yeah.
sidekicks are still with him means that he still has something to give at least someone.
Oh, for sure.
But he paid the price for everything that he did to himself. And he's living with that. And that's technically what he said, right? Like, I have to live with this for the rest of my life. And that's just what it is.
Yep.
And that's what I meant before when I was saying that Horikoshi set everything up and he doubled down on, no, these are the realities. This is how this ends. And everybody's paying the price, right? And I appreciate it for that. Because he wasn't afraid to give him the bad ending. It's not even the bad ending. That's the ending that character earned for himself.
Yeah, that's what he deserved. And that's what makes this that's why I wanted to jump back and point that out of like Endeavor is alone and his family's not there. And that's the end of his story. He doesn't get a fancy page like everybody else. He's gone because he got what he deserved. He was able to he atoned, he helped save the day, but he got the harsh ending. And that to me is when I'm like, oh, Horikoshi's gonna do okay. Everybody gets their realistic endings, like Deku being a teacher, like the put the fries in the bag, bro memes are there, but it's like Deku being quirkless teaching is the realistic ending, and it's like okay,
yep. And he's
Deku still has this.
I'm sorry,
Go.
I just want to say I love how Deku is still Deku. Like he doesn't stop being true to who he is. Yeah.
I will say this, I forgot to mention it, but
Hit me.
one thing I'm disappointed at, but it's
The Baku was still alive.
it's it's the fact that we see that
10 more seasons, Isaac.
I was gonna say that I think it is a missed opportunity since we do see Invisible Girls human form or whatever you want to call it in the war, and I do feel that it's sort of like you see her in the class being invisible again at the time skip and all that jazz, and she joins in the battle, well, invisible. It could just be a cool thing to have seeing her have sort of as a suit, so he could just turn her on and off, invisible, sort of like, well, Missile Bowman in Fantastic Four, because that would just show that she had the Kirk involved as well.
I mean, I think that's what it's alluding to, because even in the color page, we see her. And in the final page, they're all jumping into action, so her quirk's just activated. There's a lot of things Horikoshi could have sheared up. Toru Hagakure is not the one I would focus on.
No, that's why.
Because there's a lot more that he.
Yeah. But
she's on the first
that's why.
page with green hair.
Yeah, that's just what I mean with a nitpick. And that's why I said it was a nitpick.
I need to see Deku's dad, bruh. Like, what the heck, man?
Damn it, we still on this?
Yes, said he was
we're gonna be recording the ending of One Piece. Somehow Leo gonna get caught up. Yo, man, just want to let you know. I get it that Roger couldn't get there, but damn it, where's Deku's dad? Wait, who's the One Piece? The One Piece is Deku's dad. Like,
Can we get
The
can
One
we
Piece
at
is
least
Deku's dad.
one panel with this man showing back up and being like, "Son, you saved the world! Oh my god!" One panel.
Hopefully,
His dad-
His
dad is dead. That's my theory,
He
okay?
gotta be
yo,
dead,
yo.
right? I mean,
He's saying a high five with one hand and a bottle of milk in the other. Like,
Good lord. All right, so Aizawa tells Deku needs to be harsher on his students. Deku thinks he's like, I'm cool, right, Sensei? And he's not. Deku's still the awkward goofball that we know at 27 years old or 25 years old
so
now.
good. So good.
Deku sees a kid falling, and of course, his body moves without thinking because, of course, it does. And he goes to catch the kid. Kid falls. Kid realizes that, oh my gosh, this is idol. That's All Might, right? This is what happens when All Might saves Deku from the sludge villain. Same interaction, almost word for word. Can I be a hero like you? Deku, instead of saying yes or no, we get the final Mineta-shaped mutter from Izuku. As he's like, well, your quirk's like Mineta. And he just goes on this whole ramble of how it's going to work. It's like, and this is why.
This, I'm going to be honest, I don't know how you guys reacted to this. I was literally almost crying when I was reading this. Because the fact that after everything we've been through in 430 chapters, Horikoshi never forgot the main message, right? The idea that, because I'm going to be honest, I still watch the first 2 episodes of My Hero and I still cry. Like when Deku goes, when Izuku asks All Might, can I be a hero? And All Might first says no, but Deku still tries to save it and inspires All Might. And then he says, you can be a hero. Like that to me is like just tears of emotional. And then here, the fact that Deku hears that he was not the only one that's felt this way. He's hearing this kid that does have a quirk, right? But even someone with a quirk has this conundrum. And that he's able to smile and he can be the one to say, you can be a hero. And you see, and you get page 13 of everyone behind the statue, because it's showing how everyone in society can be a hero. This is like a big like message, right, to the world. Like anybody can be a hero. It's not about the powers. It's about doing something that's good for others, right?
and you know what's really cool about that is like Deku didn't have the quirk, remember? And he was like, well, I have to have a quirk to be a hero. This kid has a quirk.
Yep.
And feels like I can't be a hero still.
Yep.
What a cool message to just say, even you with the quirk you think is useless. And even Deku was like coming up with ways. He's like, so you can like stack this and do that.
Yep.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
And it's funny because this particular idea, which is why I love, and I have to go finish it, but the main character from Vigilantes is kind of in the same boat as God.
Yeah.
And it's exploring the same idea as Deku, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's great. I love everything about this. You both hit the nail on the head. I love that what seemingly is the last page is Deku saying, do your best. And this is the story of how we all became heroes. The end. And it's like, Brandon's already crying. That could have been the end of the book, and we would have been happy. But of course, All Might grabs the end, rips it down, and it's just like, here we go.
And he hasn't
one last gift, young Midoriya.
And he hasn't done this since the first season of My Hero. Which is so. Oh, by the way, no blood coming out of his mouth. Like
His eyes
he
are
actually
back.
has color. By the way, when I noticed that All Might has the color back in his eyes, I was so happy because we haven't seen color in his eyes since before he was All Might. Because ever
like
since
Isaac was saying earlier, is the stress of All for One is gone. The world has been saved. All Might cannot stress anymore. He can finally be finally be Toshinari and
But
just
not
be chill.
right,
live his life.
but the other side of it is, remember, the reason his eyes were so like black also was because of how broken his body was after the All for One debacle. Not only was his body broken, his spirit was broken until he met Deku. And once everything comes full circle, now he's able to see life with a smile, like a real smile, a hopeful smile again. And to answer your question, Isaac, it took almost 6-8 years to make the first suit that All Might uses in the war. Because remember, they kind of make it a point that David Shield and David Shield and every one of those, they've probably been working on the suit that All Might uses since he got hit by All for One and started losing his powers. That's when they started making
that's
that
the
suit.
entire plot of the first movie. David Shield gets in trouble because he's like, I've been trying to replicate your power and help you keep One for All. That's the entire plot of movie 1.
Right. So it makes sense that
so
it takes
seeing Melissa was foreshadowing. I think her, David, and Hatsune figured it out eventually.
Yes. But not only that, remember another reason why it takes so long, Melissa is still in college or still in school, right? By the end of the arc, of the war arc. David's in jail. Because remember, he got arrested. So we don't know if he's out yet. But not only that, they needed funding. And that's where Bakugo and Class A come in. They've been funding the research and the development of it. And this is a prototype. It's not even like the hands-on. This is year 1 Black Deku, Bat Deku, or whatever we're going to call him. So
Mark 1.
Yeah. Well,
Great
actually,
cosplay for me and
actually, no, wait. There's a marking on there. This is Mark. No, this is Mark 18, prototype number 18. It says it on the briefcase.
Ooh,
No.
okay. Oh yeah,
Deku's briefcase from UA was always 18.
There are good ways
That's a
through
C
this
number.
this device, but they still want him
Damn
to use it to do the research. Huh?
I like it. No, that's the same briefcase that he's always had. That's the SKU number from UA. That's what Mike just said. I never caught that.
Yeah. His number was always 18. When Gran Torino gives him his second suit when he's about to fight Stain, it's in a briefcase and it's number 18 on it. So this is
Deep cut.
This is a reference from Class A saying, "Hey, 18, here's your new suit." That's probably Hatsume's doing.
Bottom of the bottom of the class type deal. Hey, 18. That kind of
take this to heart, Midoriya Shonen. You've also earned this power fair and square. And then, what is the greatest shot to end the book? Right? Come on, Deku. He's the one calling him.
And I want to talk about the significance of that, though. Him saying, "Come on, Deku." Ever since Bakugo apologized, right? That fateful day Isaac will never forget. Bakugo apologizes, and from that day, he vows to never call him Deku again. He calls him Izuku. I hear you, Isaac. He calls him Izuku. He never calls him Deku for the remainder of the series. He calls him Izuku because to Bakugo, Izuku was an insult, and he's done with that. That Kachan is now gone.
Yeah.
He's Izuku Midoriya, and he refers to him as such to the end of the series. But now that Deku has a suit, guess what? Deku is the name of a hero.
You get your superhero name.
And
yes,
Bakugo.
sir.
No, Deku is the name of his rival. He's is game recognizing game, bro. Yes.
That too, but remember, in their first fight in school, Deku flips him and he says, "From now on, Deku is the name of a hero." And so Bakugo, once he gets him his power back, is like, "All right, you're Deku again. Let's go." Beautiful.
Yes. And for the first time, I may be for the first time, I think this is one of the few times ever. I'm looking at the final splash page, right? I think this is one of the first times that I see Bakugo with an actual genuine smile.
Yeah.
It's not him going all crazy.
Yeah, of course, Horikoshi has to end the book with all them kids.
Mineta don't look different at all. He got a couple little pieces of peach fuzz. He looked the exact
Goatee Mineta is a scary combo, man. I do not like the implications of that at all.
Of what?
Creeper stash.
And he has the little
Goatee
little
Vendetta.
the little stem from the grape coming out.
Grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yuck.
we're talking about this last page. Hawk sends them on their next mission. Deku has one last vision of Tomura Shigaraki. He changed the future.
Oh, that's
Shigaraki Tomura
Hawks up
sees
there
him.
in that panel.
And Class A.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Hawks
like
has
seeing
lost his
Shig-
wings.
He looking a little.
I like Shigaraki being there.
Looking a little comfortable up there, don't he?
I like the idea that Shigaraki at the end of the day end up being a hero because he played his part in creating this new society. Funny,
Which is all he
it's
wanted in the first place.
It's funny how sometimes destruction is necessary
Yes, sir.
to be able to rebuild properly.
Breaking
And that's
down the
kind of
code.
what, and I like the idea of the last glimpse of Deku and Shiraki, that's him going, I will never forget.
Yep.
I will never forget what it cost us to get to this. By the way, I'm not gonna lie. I'm digging the suit, by the way. I'm digging that suit. That suit looks fun.
So we're gonna have a little fun and talk about these suits. I love how Horikoshi made them look older, but also didn't at the same time. Like
Yeah.
Mineta looks the same. Frappa
Sugar
looks the
Rush
same.
looking old.
Right.
I like the
he's
new
a
take
little
on
bigger.
Invisible Girl though.
Right? New gloves. Those are new gloves. I'm not even joking. They're new gloves.
Hey!
But like the entire thing is like,
I love how
Leo.
Leo.
I longer.
I love how Leo went like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm still confused.
No, but like Horikoshi's entire design philosophy, I could already see the pitch meeting. Right, all right. Class A, they're adults, they're in their mid-20s. What are we gonna do different? Mineta gets a goatee. You know, Ashido, she gets longer hair. Bakugo's gauntlets are slightly different. Uraraka is thick as hell, and that's it. That's it.
We can now.
That's the change. It's like, all right.
Well, we got a little.
This was
mustache
our
going
Hero
for Zero.
Academia.
We got a little much. I like the jacket that I forget his name, the one with the tail quirk.
Yeah, he got that dope
Tail
fur
man.
line,
He got
Sherpa
that
line
fur
jacket.
line. I
Kind
like
of looking like Hawks, honestly.
Yeah, I do like Acid Girl's antennae and her long hair. She looks very nice.
I'm still
Bro,
laughing at Hawks up in
Shinzo looks fire, bro. Shinzo
Shinzo
looks like
he's
he's
great. He took all
does
of
look super
Eraserhead's
dope.
aura.
yes,
Yeah,
he's
he
like about
did.
to yo. He looks like he's about to fuck shit up. Like
Right?
yes.
Got the cool
Yes.
mask.
Shout out to Class A.
Yeah, man.
I'm good. We've been here for a long time, and I know Leo's got to hop off. I want to get your thoughts on My Hero Academia as a whole. I know it's a big question. How did you think all this came together?
Is this free for all?
Throw
This
it,
is for
bro.
you
Yes.
specifically because
All
you're the one
right.
with the time.
So I think we up until the war arc, very clean, solid series. I think the war arc gets a little mucky. I think we get we go into what's going on, who's doing what. Well, we gotta tie all these loose ends territory, so we stumble on some kind of not so solid storytelling for a little while. We go so many separate ways. We get away from that main, and I'm okay tying the knots, but we get a little messy. We really tied this up with a clean, neat bow in the last 10 chapters. That was a clean, crisp last 10. I just wanted a little bit more with some of the ideals, but great conclusion and a great anime series. Probably one of my favorites of all time at this point. Definitely.
I know I am the novice anime manga fan here, ironically. But My Hero Academia might have the best ending of any shonen that I've ever experienced. Like straight up. Like the payoff is perfect. Like as much I think I like Naruto as a story, as a world a bit more. But the ending of Naruto is a mess. The ending of My Hero while messy, beautiful, perfect. Encapsulates everything that made My Hero Academia special. My only frustrations is that I feel like this story could have gone on a little longer, and the ideas could have been fleshed out a bit more. Like, I feel like, and we talked about this throughout the show, Horikoshi wanted to end this book. He wanted to move on, and I think he cut some corners in some places. Like, a lot of Class A doesn't get developed a ton. Like, what does Sugar Rush do? We know nothing about that man. He made Airy Apples once. That's about it.
He's the oldest looking one at the end.
Like, even
that's
a character like
we
Uraraka. Right. But like Uraraka, right? Her entire arc is wanting to help Toga and learning that, hey, villains have feelings and emotions, and I need to better understand them and who helps. And she wants to be that person, right? Pair her up with Hawks. Hawks killed twice. Hawks is the type of hero who's like, hey, if you're a threat to society, you need to die. And Uraraka's entire arc is not that, and wanting to be there for Toga and willing to donate blood every day if it means keeping Himiko Toga alive. And it's like, it's crazy to me how they don't. Hawks is chilling. Leo, to answer that bit you said, Hawks, his entire thing was he wanted to make a world where heroes had too much time on their hands. And the last shot we see of him, he's just like, got too much time on my hands, baby. But I feel like Uraraka could have got a lot more. I feel like Ida could have got more. Just naturally within the story. I feel like even Deku, there was a chance to do a season or two of Deku train with Aizawa. Pair him with different heroes, with different characters. Like, have him and Jiro and Shinso train under Eraserhead, and you can make it this Batman-like story where they're doing detective shit, right? And it's like, there's so many things that are kind of wasted and squandered because it felt like we did the main campaign, and I love the main campaign. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, but there were side quests that I feel like we could have done that we just decided not to, and it ultimately, I think that's why so many people want a Shippuden, right, or a sequel or something, because you give Deku a power suit and then the story just ends, and it's like, what does the suit do? Tell me, what does the suit do?
Well, that leaves us open for
those are
series.
generally my closing thoughts. Do we get it? That's my last question for you, Leo.
I'm not sure, but thank you guys so much for letting me join in. This has been a wonderful stream.
Always good to talk to you, brother.
This manga with you guys, because didn't we start at like 200? Like, we had to have started at like 150 or like 200.
Yo, we devoured that. We started talking about it, and then we started devouring that book, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's been amazing, guys. It's been plus ultra.
What a ride, bro.
Y'all. So good. So thank you for having me. Look forward to having some more discussions about some anime in the future. And we'll see y'all soon.
See you, man.
Have it awesome.
Peace out. Guys, any other thoughts on Boku no Hero Academia? We can be here all day, but honestly,
it's one of the best endings I've ever read of anything.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's just,
yeah.
I think he does.
I
think he finds a way to bring everything home in such a way that I would just walk away satisfied. And yes, do I want more? I will always want more because it's great storytelling and I love the characters. But I am so satisfied where everything ended because it transcended the characters, right? It was all about the message that he's trying to communicate, right? And I think Horikoshi does a great job in doing that. So I'm very interested in what he does next, even if it's a horror manga. like Isaac has been talking about for the last 5 years.
Hey, he has said openly that he wants to do
I'm not saying it's a bad
horror
thing,
manga.
Isaac. I'm just stating that you're the guy that keeps saying the thing. And if he does the thing, he does.
You said the thing.
He said it.
Take the credit, man. If he makes a horror manga, take the credit. You called it. Like, I called Deku in the story quirkless like 3 years ago. I'm taking full credit for that.
But yeah, I love how he found a way to close it up nicely. I love the fact that none of us expected it to end this way. Nobody expected that he would take this last 5 chapters to wrap the story in this grounded manner. And I think the story is all the better for it. So, do I want to see Deku Plus or whatever we're gonna call this version of Deku? Because we can't call him Iron Deku because he doesn't have a mask. I mean, an iron mask.
We're gonna
right?
just call him Deku.
Yeah, we're just gonna call him Deku. But do I want to see more of him? Yes. But I kind of think I'm good with moving on from this book, and just remembering Class 1A for what it was. My Hero Academia.
So, what are your final score, though?
Isaac, closing thoughts.
8.5.
Do we score things on this channel?
Apparently, we do now. You said
Leo
9.
did a score.
I
Leo
said
a
8.5.
score.
He put 7. He put 7 out of 10 on Twitter. So,
I mean,
okay. If I'm going, scoring My Hero Academia. This is weird. Okay, because My Hero Academia, I'm gonna get very open and candid, and I'm sorry if I bring the mood down. My Hero Academia is a story that literally saved my life. I started watching this series, and season 2 was airing. I was in a very dark, suicidal place, and All Might and Deku pulled me out of it. It's your quirk, not his, is a mantra that rings in my head because that was the show, that was Horikoshi telling me, it's your life, make something of it, which is why I love this series and will forever be special for me as a person. And this is why I relate so much to Izuku Midoriya, because he's exactly how I was as a child. And seeing him grow up is a weird feeling because now I'm only 2 years older than him because of the time jump, because Horikoshi wanted them to end in present day. So seeing Deku and I have very similar trajectories of our dreams. We aspired and hit our dreams, right? And hit those goals. Even if it's not the exact way you thought you'd get there, right? And finding those friends in that community, you guys, right? You guys are my class A. And so this series is very special to me. From my heart, it would be a 10 out of 10. Critically thinking, because that is part of my job, me being a movie critic, it would be a 8 out of 10. Again, everything I love about MHA is in the first half. Once the war starts, I fell out of love with the story, but I still enjoy what Horikoshi was writing. My Hero Academia is at its strongest when it is the Hero Academy. Deku learning from the other heroes, Deku going to school. The slice of life aspect is what makes this show stand apart from other shonen stories, and it loses a lot of that towards the war. This is a long review. I'm sorry. My Hero Academia is still awesome. 8 out of 10. Falls apart a little bit in the war, picks it back up, takes to 100, knocks out the park at the end. Just give me a one shot. I need to see what the dang suit does. The end.
Honestly, first off, hearing that, it makes me even happier that I suggested a show for you. Honestly, because it's all. I'm serious. Hearing stuff like that, yes.
I know, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Art has different ways of impacting and moving people. And I'm glad that this piece of art did that for you, man. So happy I'm here talking to you about it now.
Same. But for me, it's 7 out of 10 for the same reason as Mike. It's a great show, but in the war arc, it goes... I wouldn't call it a mess, but it goes up, and it has its up and downs that makes me not being able to give it a 10 out of 10. Honestly,
I will say the war arc in the anime would make this a 10 out of 10. The end, you can feel that Horikoshi was writing this to be animated. Anime, perfect. Brandon, watch the anime. This is the perfect rendition of My Hero Academia. They knock it out the park. They crush it. The pacing's better. The ideas are better conveyed. The music amplifies it even more. If we're talking about how they do it there, I get it. What is happening? Are we being played off like the Oscars?
Go on.
So My Hero.
I thought it would be fitting to continue the ending with a Lofi version of You Say Run. Yeah.
What a great way
Got it.
to end our final conversation of the manga. We still have to finish Vigilantes, right? We got to talk about your next when it comes out. We should probably, you know what, guys, let's keep running for our dreams and the things we love and talk about them and enjoy them here at the Amateur Otaku, just like Izuku was muttering to this kid and giving him hope. Hey, man.
Yeah.
My Hero Academia was great. I hope you loved it and enjoyed it as much as we did.
We did the thing, guys. One final time, like Brandon said, this has been the Amateur Otaku Podcast. It's the show where we chat, argue, exploit about everything in anime and manga. If you want us to keep talking My Hero Academia, don't worry. We have My Hero Academia team-up missions. We've reviewed some of those. It's still running. Deku's still having adventures in team-up missions. There's school briefs. That's a light novel. That's all the school stuff that the show stopped doing. Go check those out. They're adorable. And Eri and Bakugo are the best pair of all time. I love those two together. I wish the main story covered that a little bit more. He's like her mean, like, big brother. And it's so funny. Also, Vigilantes, great. We haven't finished it. We need to. We'll do that. Your next comes out in 2 months. Anime's running. We're going to be talking that. Isaac, what else is on the schedule?
Well, on Thursday we are.
There you go.
On Thursday we are having the next review of Pokemon Horizon coming up, and next Thursday we are having our What the Hell is Going On in the Spy X Family manga, and we are also about to record on Thursday our first look of Nier Automata Court O and Oshinoko Season 2. So, look forward to that.
So excited.
Big three. We are signing out one last time. Brandon, where can the people find you?
At Monkey D. Braffy on Twitter, and whenever I have time and life allows it, here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast or the Shadow After.
Mike, what about
Mad Doc, signing off.
Okay, I can. You can find me here at the Amateur Otaku Pod. You can find me at X on the Emblemaniac. And did I say I have a pod that I write on wolf rights?
Ooh.
And I am.
Nice.
Yeah, and I have. I can do the confirmation here right now. I've started to record a certain Let's Play that is going to start coming on.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm going to make it a completely different channel or I use my current personal YouTube channel. We can see. We'll see about that later on. But it's finally happening.
That's awesome, dude. So exciting.
How's about you, Mike? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Novice Cinephile on the Twitter, on the YouTube, on the TikTok, where I talk about My Hero's Inception and Jack Midoriya. We reference that here. Go check that out. That's a fun time. Also, my written work, collider.com. Over there, I'm going to be interviewing Lisa, who performed My Hero Academia ending number 5. To that, I'll talk to her about that.
Nice.
It's going to be fun.
Very nice.
And yeah, here, Otaku, talking everything in anime and manga, chatter, talking everything in movies and everything else. Leo and I have a special project working over there that we are going to announce very soon. But that has been everything. Thank you all so much for watching. All the years talking My Hero. Thank you, Kohei Otakoshi, for writing an incredible series.
Thank you, Horikoshi.
And if it comes back, cool. If this is the end, beautiful, perfect. Guys, we have to sign off, and we've got to sign off saying the thing one last time. You guys can be
beyond.
heroes, but as always, go beyond.
Beyond.
Plus
Plus
ultra.
Ultra.
Plus ultra. Peace.
There are stories about every hero, how they became great. Now,